I am Whitney Houston.
It's Bruce Springsteen and East Street Band. Yeah!
Hi, this is Holly Dunn, and I want to wish each and every one of you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Howdy, this is Jerry Garcia from the Grateful Dead.
Hi, this is Don McLean. You're listening to the Sounds of Christmas
podcast.
Welcome to the Sounds of Christmas podcast. Hi, I'm Ken Kessler. If you're new to this podcast, I want to start by saying thanks for joining us. If you're not new, welcome back. Either way, I'm glad you're here. Now, to avoid any confusion, I want to start off by saying there won't be any music played here. This is a place for conversation. I'll talk about Christmas music and some related topics, sometimes by myself and sometimes with guests. If you're looking for music, just go to soundsofchristmas.com and click on the tree or the player on the front page or on the Listen Now page. We play the best variety of Christmas music all year long. Well, except in October, when we play the best variety of Halloween music. It's hard to believe that Whitney Houston has been gone for 12 years. I can vividly remember when the news broke that day, and I was sure it was one of those stupid social media hoaxes. But sadly, it turned out to be true. I was thinking a lot about Whitney this past weekend, which marked the 12th anniversary of her passing. She didn't leave a lot of Christmas music for us, though there have been teases that there may be more in her vault of unreleased material. I thought I'd take a few moments to talk about the Christmas music she gave us that we do know about. Now, Whitney first came on the scene on a duet with Teddy Pendergrass called Hold Me. That came out in 1984, the better part of a year before her first album, which was just called Whitney Houston. That album had You Give Good Love, Saving All My Love for You, How Will I Know, and The Greatest Love of All. Last three of those all hit number one. I know none of those were Christmas songs. I'm just trying to set the stage. Whitney's follow-up album, called Whitney, came out in the summer of 1987 and gave her four more number one singles. I Want to Dance with Somebody, Didn't We Almost Have It All, So Emotional, and Where Do Broken Hearts Go? That year, Whitney also recorded and released her first Christmas single, her version of Do You Hear What I Hear, which appeared on the very first, very special Christmas album, alongside Bruce Springsteen, Madonna, and U2, just to name a few. Fast forward to 1996, and Whitney starred in the movie The Preacher's Wife, which also starred Courtney B. Vance and Denzel Washington. This was a remake of the 1947 film The Bishop's Wife, which starred David Niven, Loretta Young, and Cary Grant. In addition to being one of the movie's stars, Whitney also sang several songs for the movie and the soundtrack, though only a couple of those were Christmas songs. Who Would Imagine a King and Joy to the World, the latter with the Georgia Mass Choir. I'm not sure if it's the same arrangement, but Whitney's version of Joy to the World is at least very similar to one that Aretha Franklin sang in 1994 for the soundtrack to the remake of Miracle on 34th Street. In 1998, Whitney recorded a duet with Mariah Carey for the animated movie The Prince of Egypt. Not really a Christmas song, as this movie was actually about Moses, but the song When You Believe was a platinum hit, receiving a ton of airplay that December. Whitney's first and only Christmas album came out in 2003. It was called One Wish, the holiday album, and it included both of her Christmas songs from the Preacher's Wife soundtrack, along with covers of standards and carols, including a duet with Whitney and her daughter, Bobby Christina Brown, on Little Drummer Boy. The only single released from this album was the title track, a cover of Freddie Jackson's One Wish for Christmas. And that's pretty much it for Whitney Houston's Christmas catalog. In 2021, Pentatonix, with some technical wizardry, recorded a duet with Whitney on her first Christmas single, Do You Hear What I Hear, which appeared on the Best of Pentatonix Christmas. As far as unreleased music goes, even though Whitney passed away in 2012, a version of her singing Steve Winwood's song Higher Love was released in 2019 by Norwegian DJ and record producer Kygo. Houston's cover of the Winwood track was originally included on the Japanese edition of her third studio album, I'm Your Baby Tonight, back in 1990. This version of the track was produced by American musician Narada Michael Walden, and therefore Walden is credited as a producer of Higher Love alongside Kygo for the recent version. This seems similar to what Pentatonix did with her version of Do You Hear What I Hear, which makes me wonder just how much unreleased music there really is. I just feel like after 12 years, If there really were some Christmas songs we hadn't heard before, we would have them by now. Still, I'll try to remain hopeful, and I'm still grateful for what we do have. We still miss you, Whitney, and thank you so much for the music. And thank you for listening, helping me share some Christmas spirit, and for continuing to support the Sounds of Christmas station and podcast. I already told you how to listen to the station, and you're already listening to the podcast, so my work here is just about done. All of our episodes are available on the Sounds of Christmas website. Just click the podcast tab. And we also have a Linktree page that lists most, if not all, of the streaming sites that carry our podcast, so you can find your favorite, click on over, subscribe, and you'll never miss another episode. If you have comments or suggestions on this episode, previous episodes, or the Sounds of Christmas station, feel free to reach out to me on social media or through the website. Thanks again, and may you always believe in Santa Claus.